Hey there guys, DMO73 bringing you the deck profile that I have for you for this week, on the one that I was able to get for you for this week. This is Little Red Riding Hood, Mono Blue Wererabbit Tempo. So kind of a very interesting take on a deck for Little Red, but with the blue cards that came out in NPR, there was just a lot of support for Wererabbits that I think flowed really well into a really good tempo deck, and I thought that Little Red Riding Hood was the perfect ruler to kind of go along with that flow. For those of you just getting into the game or not playing a lot of, not really knowing what tempo means, it means that you're putting creatures on board while simultaneously removing threats from your opponent's board. So it's kind of like you're gaining momentum and disrupting your opponent's play at the same time. That's what really sets it apart as like a tempo deck. It's a little bit faster than a mid-range, but not quite as fast as like a control, an aggro deck. So it kind of falls right kind of in between there. So let's just jump right in. This is Little Red Riding Hood. We talked about her before. Pretty simple J activate of pay 0, but you can only do it if you put a moon card into the field this turn. This is specifically a moon type of card. It's an edition that has the subtype moon, so just keep that in mind. Then she flips over to Little Red the Wolf Girl. When she hits the board, she deals 800 damage to target Resonator. That's a mandatory trigger, and it can be a Resonator you control if you're the only one who controls Resonators. I made that kind of misplay in the video, someone corrected it, so I wanted to make sure I pointed that out to you guys. And then a 1200, 200, so dies pretty quick to Thunder, which is unfortunate, but she has Swiftness, so she can swing in on a free board and deal that 1200 damage. And if she survives the turn she gets J activated, she can flip back over to Little Red and be used later. Kind of going into the whole, like, the werewolf, you know, rising when the moon rises, that kind of thing. So really, really cool. So let's go ahead and jump right into the monster lineup. We run, for draws, it's all Wererabbits, so we run 4 Night of the New Moon, just tap it, draw 1, discard 1, solid 1 drop, can get puffed up later with your different moon cards to turn into a threat, as well as generate some boosting for some of your other Wererabbits later based on their effects. Then the other 1 drop for Pilot of Universe. Just a quick 1 drop 3 for 3, but by paying a Moon Will, you can give it flying for the turn. So being able to swing in early for early beats with a quick flying payment is really, really good, and it can also just swing in to get that last little bit of damage when your opponent's not expecting it. Then we run 2 Yin Mage of Increscent and 2 Yang Mage of Decrescent. They're both 400, 400 2 drops. They each cost, they have flying both, so that's really cool. And then they can each pay a moon to generate a stat boost. Yin bumps up her defense, Yang bumps up her attack. So you can use those to kind of quickly kind of puff them up if your opponent is going to swing in for a quick block to be able to possibly survive the block and not have to trade with Yin, or swing in for some extra damage or kill something with Yang that your opponent's not expecting. Then, I think personally the real heavy hitter of the deck is Archer of the Crescent Moon. 200, 200, 2 drop, not that great, but it's got flying, which is automatically better, and it gets plus 300 for every other Wererabbit you control. And considering the fact that you probably are going to be putting 1 Wererabbit at least on board every single turn, this card can get very, very large very, very quickly. And with the flying, it can almost be, if your opponent doesn't have an answer to it, that's going to be game because they won't be able to block unless they have a flyer of themselves. So it can very quickly end games, especially if you play one right after the other. Then, the last 2 drop that really made this deck shine, Campanella the Milky Way Moon. Her enter effect is you can search your deck for a water moon card, so Pale Moon or Tsukuyomi the Moon City, and put it into play onto your field for free. When she enters the field. That also means that you've technically put a moon onto the field for the turn, so when you use Campanella's effect, you can then J activate, provided it resolves properly, and play Little Red from your hand, J activate for Little Red. Really, really powerful. The ability to draw out a moon from anywhere in your deck to be able to turn on Little Red is really important, as well as she can banish herself to return things back to your hand. If they're going to die. So if one of your Resonators is going to die, you can play Campanella, put it back into your hand, and recycle it for later. So very, very good card for this deck. And then for Dark Shining Swordsman, this card I think is brilliance. I think it has a huge cost in the fact that it costs 2 moon to use its effect, but the effect is just too good. So a 3-drop, 600 Wererabbit. Paid 2 moon, target Resonator loses, has its printed attack becomes 0 until the end of the turn. So you can use this to turn off a Blazer, you can use this to turn off any kind of huge creature that you're about to get hit with. If your opponent decides to swing in for a block, you can blank out the attack of their monster so that they don't have to worry about trading. You can stop a Gilderai, all kinds of things you can use with this effect. And it gets it so that if you do have to go into the late game for any kind of reason, you can really keep your opponent's options locked down. When you're not really having to worry about playing creatures, you can just spend the moon on this stuff. Then, to finish it off, 3 Swordsman of the New Moon, Full Moon, to be able to quickly bounce something back to the hand for your 4-drop, as well as a 900 flyer is very, very powerful. So this is kind of the like finishing tempo card. So you play it, you get a large creature, and you get to bounce something back to your opponent's hand. And I realize, actually, sorry, 4 of those. I don't know why there were only 3 in the pile. There should be 4. So the deck runs 4 Swordsman of the Full Moon. So sorry about that. Spell lineup, there's only 3 spells, and we run 4 of each. We run 4 Rabbit Kick to be able to quickly at an instant speed bounce 2 cards off the field. You can choose to do one or the other, but if you have a Wererabbit on board, you can bounce 2 monsters instead of 1. Very, very good card. And then 4 Pale Moon also can be used to bounce cards, as well as give your Wererabbits a buff and turn on Little Red. Very, very good. And then Tsukuyomi the Moon City, we run 4 of that, again, because we want to be able to deactivate as much as possible. It also serves as an additional way to produce Moon Will, and you can use it to draw a card and give stuff flying. Very, very good. So that's it for the spell lineup. I just realized in the middle of this that I forgot to go over the stones. It's fairly simple. We run 5 blue, because we're mono blue, so we want to hit that a bunch. And then we run 3 of the Moon Shade, because we also want to be able to hit blue off of these a lot, as well as pay for the moon. And then, because we don't want to completely burn ourselves to death, we play 2 Moonlight as well for that extra moon source, and for copying the blue. So, but you don't want to hit this too much on game 1, which is why we only run the 2 of it, because we want to make sure to be able to make that turn 1 play, because against some decks that can be super important. So yeah, there you have it. That is the deck. I hope you guys liked it. I really enjoyed kind of tweaking to make this deck work. I think it's a really fun deck. I think I plan on keeping it in my bag at all times, just as like a fun extra deck to be able to play with friends. Really, really cool use of Little Red in an unexpected way. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought about the deck, what you would change if you've ran something like this, how has it been working out for you, what you think is a good idea, if you think you'd want to run this deck, all of those things. I'd love to hear them. Just go ahead and like, comment, and as always, please subscribe for more content every single week. Until next time, guys, this is DMO73, as always, signing off.